I've been reading a lot ever since I started having these realizations. All day now I read. I listen to audiobooks and I take notes, and sometimes I read physical books just to build up my concentration. And it's awesome. It's changing my worldview on everything. The biggest ones I'm reading right now are a book on like critical communication, not critical, objective communication, and a book called The Charisma Myth, which basically breaks down charisma into skills that you can learn instead of just an innate power that some people have, which is it's honestly life changing to be super charismatic. It's like a lot of my family and friends think I'm kind of crazy because I'm like frantically reading a ton and super obsessed with this social engineering concept and like the fact that social skills are like something you can learn to do now very effectively. But it's just when you haven't read this book, you don't understand like how revolutionary some of the techniques in here are. And I know it's a published book. Yes, it has like people that have read it before, but like it really needs to be read by like the autistic because this book is like phenomenal. The Charisma Myth. It just like it makes me incredibly charismatic, which is very exciting. I'm using that to do some very cool things. Like I basically became quite popular overnight. I mean, I've always had kind of a lot of friends and connections, but I've been using it to just like straight up talk to so many people and get so many people like excited and interested in what I'm doing. And it's really awesome. I've also realized a bunch of things about social structure now because you can, if you really look at it and understand it, there's a reason for why we do everything and act the way we do. One big thing that motivates a lot of people is they want to feel like they're part of the group. They don't want to feel like left behind by the rest of everyone. So what people will do is they'll kind of observe a social behavior and then try to follow what they think like someone who is charming and charismatic and well put together is doing. So you can influence people a lot more effectively by like showing them what's working than like trashing on what they're doing. So one example of that, what I'm using to do, Jake actually gave me this idea. It was a brilliant idea. I hate the scourge of like TikTok and YouTube Shorts and all this fractured media that's destroying our attention spans and making everyone really stupid and easy to influence. And I'd much prefer everyone spend all day reading books and understanding things, studying like Buddhism and psychology and charisma are good places to start. But I think people should just be reading way, way more, like founding father amounts of reading. Like no, the TikTok stuff is ridiculous. So how am I addressing the TikTok stuff? Well, I've found that I can make it like socially unacceptable when I'm the popular one in the room to talk about TikTok stuff. And when people are like referencing something like 6'7" or some dumb internet meme, like Jake gives them kind of side eye, and I'm like, you don't want to be too mean to people because that will like make them double down on their social faux pas. But you gotta subtly signal that talking about TikTok humor is just like not it. Nobody cares. It's not funny. You're just like you're using mainstream humor. You don't think for yourself. You're just a ball. Are we still? Okay. Yeah, it's honestly pretty amazing how when I'm the one like explaining how cool everything that I'm doing is, well, that's not a good way to look at it. People aren't really interested in you, they're interested in themselves. Almost everyone is interested in themselves. And I finally like I read How to Win Friends and Influence People, but that didn't click with me until I started realizing everyone's like smarter than me at certain things and has their own internal world going on. And the empathy that gave me to like actually talk to people and be interested in what they do, like treat their like life like it's the next page of the Neovim manual. You know, I started doing that, and everyone just loves talking to me when I do that. And yeah, and then when I'm really interested in them, they start to get more interested in me, and like people see that I'm just talking to tons of people with like no fear all the time, and then like people just want to be around me because it's like it's really fun. And it's then like I'm able to not like force people to do anything, you know, it's not like you're compelling anyone through manipulative tactics to do anything, but I talk about like, oh yeah, I've just been reading all the time, I'm into like Zen Buddhism, I'm into blah 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 blah, I have this like kind of thing going, I'm talking to this guy, I'm like making these social connections, I'm learning to code, I'm learning like all the, and people when they hear like how interesting someone charismatic's life is through like reading and not consuming endless video content, they just want it, they'll feel like it's their own idea. It's not like me telling them you have to read, or you're dumb. It's like they see the results that reading can get you. They see what being articulate and charismatic from reading books about being articulate and charismatic can get you, and they just want to do it themselves. But I don't want to keep those tactics to myself. Like, people kind of, my family especially, worries that I'm like spreading all this like super excited like cult like fanaticism about social engineering everywhere. I think it would be way more concerning if I read a bunch of books about social engineering and then didn't tell anyone any of the techniques in them. It's just, in my perspective with this stuff, you have to read this Charisma Myth book and you'll be like, wow, the average person, because of how little they read now, is completely susceptible to like all the ancient Greek and modern like psychology techniques of persuasion. And it's like, when people don't read, they're so naive, and like they're basically, they open themselves up to being very easily influenced, which is why TikTok is so effective. It just continues to exploit your basic caveman circuitry. But yeah, another thing is, I'm like very excited these days. Back to the hypomania thing, where a few people told me like, you have to worry about being manic. Like, I'm doing so much stuff every day. I'm talking to so many people. I'm learning so many new things that it's like, it's very exciting for me. And that's where I made a video the other day about Zen Buddhism. And that's where that becomes extremely helpful. I've realized I can regulate my internal mental state and the speed of my thoughts. So during the day, I like to put on like a kind of hyper excited persona, because as the Charisma Myth explains, people can subliminally pick up on that body language, and they really do. It's very powerful. Like, when I'm super excited about my vision of like spreading education everywhere, like, it's very easy to talk to people and influence them. But you don't want to be like in a manic state all the time, because it's hard to sleep, and it's also, you'll make some kind of irrational decisions because you're kind of controlled by thoughts of like more and more dopamine, more and more talking to girls, more and more whatever, what the implication is. And so Zen Buddhism is very powerful at slowing that down, basically like getting rid of all your kind of thoughts. And I actually found another guy when I was talking about Zen Buddhism at Nordic skiing practice the other day. He was like, oh yeah, I'm interested in an adjacent, there's like a people from northern India that live nearby him. They kind of immigrated over, and they live in Vermont somewhere. So now I have a bunch of reading material on those people's wisdom, and it's just like, I would never have had that if I didn't think to go and tell people about all the information I'm acquiring. So yeah, I think like, if you have valuable information, do not hoard it to yourself. Like, go and spread it to as many people as possible, and that's how we're gonna like open the world back up and take it away from all these corporations enslaving people with like all their digital technology. It doesn't work to just tell people like, oh, TikTok is enslaving you, life sucks for you. People are gonna be like, meh, not really. I mean, my life is actually pretty okay, because it's like regulatory dopamine. But what you can do is show people that by reading and by understanding and by actually thinking a little bit for yourself, you can create a much, much better life. Like, you can show people what you can get by reading financial books, by reading, just understanding your own psychology and understanding like communication theory, understanding things that'll let you communicate and be charming, and people will be like, whoa, that guy suddenly became popular. That's weird, out of nowhere. And he's also like rich and also has a bunch of other hobbies. That sounds more fun than just sitting inside on TikTok all day. And if you combine that with like a little bit of a TikTok shaming, subtle movement to be like, oh, TikTok, yeah, sorry, we don't really want to talk about, like, it can't be too bad. You can't shame people into changing. It doesn't really work, but you can just like not really give them responses that are like, if someone makes some joke, some TikTok reference, like 6'7" or something, you don't have to actually like actively hate on them. I just like show them no reaction, and their mental circuitry will do the rest. Like, if they say something funny and everyone stares at them stony faced, that shit's hella embarrassing. And another trick I've found that girls actually love is when someone does something like that, I like to call it out, but like exaggerate it. So it's like, it's sarcasm, but it's like not. I'm like, oh, did you just say that? Oh shit, that's so embarrassing. Oh my god, I would hate to be you right now. And it's like, it's clearly fake, but they also kind of get that I'm a little bit serious about it. That's worked really well. It's also just like I think it's helped me. I don't know how effective reading like the Charisma Myth will be for everyone. It just helps me that I'm like insanely delusionally confident because I've realized that a lot of people around me are just on TikTok or like don't have very interesting lives according to my standards of what's interesting. So it really doesn't bother me what anyone thinks about me because I just really don't care. It's not a big deal. And yeah, that's kind of narcissistic, but the more that I'm talking to more people, I find that narcissism is unfounded. It's not like everyone is a brain dead bot walking around. They just have some brain dead bot's tendencies, which is like TikTok, but a lot of them do have really interesting things to share with you. Like I never would have gotten that wisdom from that northern Indian tribe if it wasn't for that one guy that I talked to. Like there's just tons of cool people everywhere that are just like begging for social interaction. It's crazy like how isolated we've become. And it's crazy how easy once you realize that and once you realize these things about charisma that you can just start talking to like so many people, become very popular and like yeah, I don't know. It used to it's yeah, life is just awesome over here. Like everything is going my way. The more I read, the better it goes. It's like unreal how powerful reading is. The amount of knowledge you can absorb and like the knowledge density of books compared to TikTok is like, oh my god. I'm just like a walking god. I can do whatever I want and everyone like loves me for it. But you got to be careful not to like go too deep into that and not be delusional or like fanatic about your like I don't want to develop a savior complex, and the reason I'm like spreading all this knowledge and information to as many people as possible is so that I don't develop a savior complex. Because if you learn exactly about all this charisma stuff and social engineering stuff, a lot of people that I know have said, oh, it actually feels really bad because you feel like you're surrounded by robots basically. And that might be hard to believe if you haven't like researched this social engineering tactics like the charisma myth, but because everyone's so on TikTok, it's like they really do get quite predictable in what they want. And I had that for a moment where I was like, oh no, people are starting to feel like robots a little bit to me. Like I can really see how this person's mind is operating and how they're insecure about this, and how like if I play into this, I can get them to say that. It's like, it feels really bad to be in that, like, everyone around you is objects mindset. And that's why I think it's crucial to understand the psychology and social engineering stuff and then spread it to all of your friends and everyone around you so they understand it too. Because it is really not fun to be alone and just manipulating girls and anyone into just doing what you want and, like, exploiting their emotional circuitry and stuff. And that sounds really bad, and it sounds like, oh, this guy's delusional, but you need to trust me and you need to read these books and you will realize as well, like, how far along the science of charisma and communication and social engineering has become. It's not like 80s, like, Freudian psychology. It's like straight up, like, Jedi mind control levels of understanding other people that we have now. And yeah, just take my word for it. I know I sound a little bit manic, but trust me, I'm in a very good headspace. And yeah, I'll catch you next time. Keep making videos. Oh, and this video, let's see if I open up OBS. It's sponsored, well, inadvertently sponsored. I don't do sponsorships. Let me take my phone off the mount. So it's sponsored by this company, which I actually don't know the name of the company. I'll have to put like a link to it in the description. But if you're starting your own channel, this gadget, I like spent a long time researching the best phone mount, and this has got to be it. It's made by a small American company. It is kind of expensive. I think it was about $60, but I believe in not buying shitty Chinese products on Amazon and then having them fall apart and have a miserable experience. This thing is so awesome because it's got like a grip that the phone slides right into. You can like mold it to like basically any size you want, and you can like hook it onto stuff too. I don't know, you can like hook it up there, and you have to like balance it a little bit, but once you get it, like you could just throw your phone into that, and like it's basically like really nice tripod mount that you can fit on anything and hook around anything and then roll up and put in your backpack. Totally worth it. I bought a shitty one on Amazon before and it absolutely sucked. It was so bad. But this, like, to spend the extra money to get something high quality from a small American company, absolutely worth it. I wish I knew what this was called. That would really make... I don't know. What I did is I went on ChatGPT deep research and I was like, what are the small companies that sell high quality, very well reviewed things I'm willing to pay a little bit more? And then I found this company, which, yeah, worked out really well. I don't know. I'll catch you next time.